Thank you for joining us as we transform this traditional yard into a California-friendly and water-wise landscape. The following video will show how the district and its partners undertook this makeover of a local resident's front yard, and the included computer files provide instructions on how to create your own water-wise garden. The first part of any makeover is the design. Homeowners should consider such elements as how the yard will be used, focal points of the home and garden, and what grows well in the neighborhood, as some plants that grow well on the coast may not perform as well inland.
Hi, my name is Mike Peltz and I'm a landscape architect, and I'm here meeting this morning with Anne Michaud. She has been selected for a front yard makeover for a California-friendly landscape design. Anne, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
We met about a week or two ago and talked a little bit about some of Anne's desires for the front yard, and our desire to make her front yard a little more California-friendly with water conservation plant materials, and so we're here today to show you what we've come up with.
Cool.
And we're interested in doing something to allow families, if they come and visit, or your friends when they come by, to have a place to gather as somebody rings the bell, and then you have a place to greet, say hi, and goodbye. Another thought that we had was that it might be nice visually to create kind of a base to the house, to the eye.
Okay.
And that might be done with plant material, and it could also be done with a low wall, which is what that line is suggesting. I noticed in your request when you submitted your application that you like cut flowers.
It would be nice just to go out in the yard and cut them and then put them in a vase.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. So we've got a lot of varieties of plant material that you can do that with. We could do something like the black-eyed Susans, which are nice cut flower as well. There's opportunity to do some of the other things that are shown here, like the heavenly bamboo or lantana, some other things that you can consider.
Okay.
But that was the thing that I had thought might work well there. It'd be nice and colorful.
I very much like that you cut down on the amount of lawn that we have right now. So that's definitely something I want. First of all, because less mowing, but also we don't have to water that much, and especially since you're using plants that require less water, that's just great. That's amazing.
The family had hoped to keep the diseased carrotwood tree, but after examining the tree, North Coast arborists determined that it could not be saved. They removed the tree and assisted district staff in the clearing of the remaining landscape. El Camino Rental supplied the necessary equipment involved in the demolition. Hardscape was not an aspect of the district's free makeover, so after obtaining 3 bids to ensure a competitive price, the homeowner hired a contractor. The new patio gives the family their area to greet guests, complete with built-in seating. The brick entry path is inviting and leads your eye to the home's entrance. The wall adds interest to the landscape and creates a water-wise flower bed where turf once grew. Once the hardscape was complete, it was time to plant the trees that were selected by the owners. The owner selected trees that would provide shade to the house, were attractive, and would not stain the concrete.
I'm Dawn Ginter, Principal Consultant with MWH Americas. MWH is a top-ranked global environmental engineering firm. Partnering with our clients on projects such as the Olivehane Landscape Makeover Project is an example of how MWH assists its clients in managing and preserving their valuable water resources. MWH purchased the 2 trees for this design, the gem magnolia and the firewheel.
JMD Landscape installed the irrigation system that was donated by Hunter Industries and Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply.
A good irrigation system, a good and efficient irrigation system, starts with a great design. What you really want to have on an irrigation system is a separate point of connection such that if you ever did have a problem with the irrigation system, say a mainline break or something like that, you could easily come out here, pull off the valve box cover, and just simply by turning the valve, shut the irrigation system off. Okay, now we're over here by the valve manifold area. One thing we'll find over here is that the contractor's also installed another shut-off valve to help isolate the system at this point as well. Just another safeguard. It's another part of a good system. This device here is called a backflow preventer. This is very important because this product helps isolate the domestic water supply from your irrigation system. After the backflow preventer, you have the control valves for the system. Why do you want to have so many valves? First and foremost, you want to take different types of plant materials and have a different zone or a different station on your controller for those different types of plant material. For instance, grass requirements is completely different than those for shrubs and those types of plants. And so you want to be able to control those separately to give them the appropriate amount of water while controlling other areas of the landscape with its most appropriate amount of water. Okay, from the valve, you'll be attaching the piping to the individual zones on the irrigation system. This pipe would obviously be attached to this point. The main line is here. When the controller tells the valve to come on, water will start flowing out and into the piping and out to the front lawn.
Flexible swing joints cost only a little more, but will not break if stepped on or run over. Make sure your heads pop up high enough to get above the plant material once it's fully established. See the files included on this DVD on irrigation design.
One thing to remember is that once the system is there, you just can't leave it alone. Heads that become in disrepair or perhaps are tilted become inefficient because they're not applying the water as they were originally intended. So it's important to get out there on a regular basis, visually inspect your irrigation system and see what's going on. Pressure is another important factor with the irrigation system. High pressure causes the water droplets to atomize, and then what happens is it gets carried away by the wind and the water doesn't actually go where it was intended to on the landscaped area. Low pressure can cause nozzles to perform in an inefficient manner. From the factory, nozzles are each designed to perform most efficiently at a given pressure. The distance that each head sprays must reach the very next head adjacent to it. So you have head-to-head coverage, and each head is spraying towards the other one and then back again to the other sprinkler head.
Hello, my name is Kyle Hawkins and I'm the store manager for the Encinitas location of Grand Jetto's Farm and Garden Supply. For over 53 years, we've been servicing homeowners, landscapers, nurserymen, and grove owners for all of their horticultural needs. We donated a lot of the irrigation products that were used, with the pipe, the fittings, the sod that you can see being installed today. Putting in a new sod lawn is not as easy as it appears. There are many steps as a homeowner you need to follow to assure that the sod takes. Grand Jetto's makes available to all of our customers, all of our locations, an easy follow, step-by-step procedure of how to install the sod. Basically, here are the steps or a checklist a homeowner needs to follow. Is the area that they want to lay new sod irrigated, and do all the stations work properly? How much sod do I need? How do I measure the area that I wish to sod? Ground preparation before putting the sod down is very important. Here are the steps. Buy good mended topsoil or compost. Add gypsum. Till the soil to the depth of 4 to 6 inches. Level the soil with a sod roller. When you've completed the first steps, then you are ready to order your sod. Here are some choices that you need to consider. What type of sod is best for my situation? Price, delivery time and installation time. Am I going to install the sod or hire a professional landscaper?
Kellogg's has been serving the needs of Southern California gardeners since 1925. We joined the project to supply both soil amendments and mycorrhizae, which are key components to any type of re-landscaping. Soil amendments or mulches are generally used as something to be rototilled into the soil that not only help break up the soil, but also aid in moisture retention in the soil to help the establishment of the newly planted lawns and shrubs. The other function of soil amendments in the soil is also to help feed the soil by releasing organic nutrients that will help to feed all of the microflora that is in the soil. And this, along with the use of mycorrhizae, greatly reduces the need for any type of chemical fertilizers being used. Mycorrhizae is a beneficial fungus that is naturally occurring in the soil, but is always in reduced states after grading and landscape work is done. By adding the mycorrhizae, the hyphae of the fungus actually attaches to the root system of the plant and grows out into the soil, aiding in absorption of water and also nutrients. What this does in effect is it greatly enlarges the root system of the plant, which means you won't need to feed as much, and also they become much more drought tolerant, which was one of the goals for this project. Mycorrhizae also does have some disease-resistant qualities which will help in most of the landscape situations.
Now we've come to what I call the heart of the irrigation system. This is the controller. You can have the most efficient design, the most efficient set of products out there, but unless the irrigation controller has the right programming set into it, then the whole system can become very, very inefficient. First of all, your basic settings would be the fact that you can set the time of day into the controller. So this is just a matter of setting your current time, just like a watch, that type of a thing. The next thing is setting the station start times. I want it to run through that complete sequence of sprinklers 4 times, say, instead of 1 time. Why is that a benefit? Well, most sprinklers apply the water at a much higher rate than what the soil can absorb the water. The next thing you want to take a look at is your days to water. You do not want to water every single day, again, once the turf grass in the plant material is established. The reason is that if you water every single day, the roots stay fairly shallow. What you want is the water to get deep into the soil and promote the roots to grow deeper and deeper. The way you do that is you try to have irrigation scheduling set up such that you maybe water every other day. Certainly in time, shrub materials oftentimes can go every 2 days, every 3 days before you have to come on with another irrigation cycle. So people commonly say, well, I'm going to program the controller, yet one of the features of the controller is something called program. What the program is basically, for all intents and purposes, another controller, or maybe 2 controllers or 3 controllers built into the very same unit. Why is that important? Well, oftentimes different types of plant materials require different amounts of water or watering schedules. Or you may have a situation where part of your landscape is in a very sunny area, part of the landscape is in a very shady area. So basically what you want to do is set up an entirely different schedule for those specific microclimates or those specific plant type materials. There is a tendency, and it's a very water wasting tendency, there's a tendency for people to set up their irrigation schedule one time and then they leave it. Nothing more is done with the controller over the year. Well, the fact of the matter is climate changes, the season changes, the temperature changes, and the watering requirements, therefore, of the plants change as the year goes on. This device down here happens to be a wireless rain click, and what that product can do is actually sense when it is starting to rain. The actual device is mounted to the eaves of the house outside where the rain could drop upon it. Once it senses the fact that there is moisture, that there is rain, it actually sends a signal to the controller and shuts down the irrigation cycle. Poor maintenance is one of the leading causes of water waste. Another feature that we've included in this controller is a remote control. The beauty of the remote control is to actually go out there and be able to individually turn on stations, valves on the controller, go out there and actually see the sprinklers operating. One of the criteria for selecting the home for the landscape makeover was certainly trying to find something that typifies the average irrigation system here in Southern California. That being one that is really in need of some help, where the irrigation heads were spaced in various spacings, the heads were not in the correct orientation or the correct height, the system wasn't being run the proper amount of time, heads were being blocked by plant material, all kinds of things, including a hodgepodge of products that had been added over time, which added to the inefficiency of the irrigation system. Once all was said and done, it was not a very efficient system. What we found going in here was a state where various sprinklers that had been added on over time and basically what looked to be a very inefficient system. So what we did early on before doing anything is conducted what is called a water audit, an irrigation water audit on the existing landscape system. And now we're here today, we're doing the follow-up water audit. And what we can do is actually take the data we learned from the initial inefficient system, establish what the efficiency was of that irrigation system, and now with this final follow-up audit, do the same thing and see how they compare. And I'm sure we're going to find out that we're going to have a much more efficient irrigation system and one that is saving water for the homeowner. So the first thing we've done here is we've placed out an array of what we call catchments. These are graduated devices that allow you to determine how much water has been placed in that catchment once the irrigation system has been run. We've placed them in an array in the yard, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn the system on and run it until we have a sufficient amount of water in the catchments, and then shut it down, and then we'll measure each one of the catchments to see the varying amount of water within those catchments. So after we've shut the irrigation system off here, we've removed one of the catchments and see that there is an amount of water. We'll actually take a measurement of that amount of water, log it, and we'll do that for each one of the catchments that are out there, and then apply some mathematical formulas to it so we can establish what is called the distribution uniformity of this irrigation system is, and that'll tell us how efficient it is in the final analysis.
Anne and I are very happy with the California-friendly makeover of our front yard. We love the design of the landscape architect. We combined a very welcoming entryway with turf as well as water-wise plants.
Yeah, we especially like the fact that that we were able to reduce the amount of lawn here and yet keep enough lawn for the kids to play on. Also, we have more plants right now that are blooming, and yet we'll still be able to conserve water, which is one of our main concerns with having the makeover.
Thank you again for joining us. We hope you have more ideas for your own California-friendly makeover and will utilize the resources found on this DVD.